Okay, welcome to OK Tech. This is Excel introduction number one, and it's a short video to just explain basically the interface of the Excel software and a few of the basics of getting to grips with that interface. So when you load it up, it's if you've got hold of a Microsoft Office package, you'll have the basic software Word, which is the blue W. That's for documents like letters or longer documents. You'll have PowerPoint, which is the red P. That's for giving presentations, usually for a meeting or a lecture or something. And you'll have Excel, which is the green X, and that's Microsoft's program for doing numeracy, so statistics, accountancy, finance, things like keeping track of buying and selling in a business, all your business numbers in tables, and possibly with things like statistical charts as well. So you open the thing up and it shows you this sort of grid system, A, B, C, all the way over to U. And if you look at the scroll bars, you've got two scroll bars here. And that scroll bar, if you click on the right of it, it will just take you over. And then when it gets to Z, it goes to AA, and then basically it just carries on. There are thousands and thousands of columns. You're not likely to need all these kind of millions of cells if you're just starting out, but they are there and they are used for bigger business projects or data sets. And then if you look down the row, same thing, and there's another scroll bar there. Okay, and then each of these squares, Microsoft calls them cells. You can just call them squares in a table or cells or squares in a spreadsheet. This whole thing is the spreadsheet. This is the spreadsheet, this bit. And then all the stuff on the top is the options that you can use. And you've got these things right at the top, which are called tabs. So, and every single one of those has got a large number of options. This is the home tab, and on the home tab, there's kind of this bit on the left here is the same as for any other Microsoft package, and most word processors, etc. have got these symbols for editing your text. So, for example, just in all the usual ways, if you click on that bold, that B is for bold, I is for italics, U is for underline. This is the font color, change it to red. This button increases the font size, this decreases the font size. This will change your fonts. You can also change the font size that way. And then you can left align, center align, right align. You can align it to the top of the cell or to the middle of the cell or to the bottom of the cell, and so on. And then these buttons are to do with actually merging cells. So for example, if you highlight those two, you can merge and center them the same way as you'd merge and center a table in Microsoft Word. So basically the tables that you put into Microsoft Word are a little bit like miniature spreadsheets. And the spreadsheet just gives you the option to create giant tables with more complicated things in, like formulae and charts. Okay, so unmerged cells is also an option there. And then as you go over to these options on the right, these are the kinds of options that you won't see in any other programs because they only relate to Excel spreadsheets. And there's various things you can do. You can sort. So if you had kangaroo, elephant, hippopotamus, etc. You could sort those into alphabetical order. So I click on the A to Z, sort A to Z, sort Z to A. If it's a bunch of numbers, like that, then if you highlight all of those, oh yeah, I just explained this little thing here. If you really haven't used spreadsheets before, what you do is you click on the whichever cell you want, you click on it, and then you hold the left mouse button down, and then you drag the mouse along the desk towards yourself, and that will select the cells downwards, and you'll see the outside of the cells spreads to include 8 or 9 different rows there. And then when you release the left mouse, it just stays selected. and you can also drag across to select a large region. That's what I'm doing. I'm holding the left mouse down and dragging it across. So if you wanted to do that, then select smallest to largest, and it will just sort those out. Select largest to smallest. Yeah, you occasionally find this. Sometimes what it does is it treats the top number or the top item. It's done the same. It's done the same. Is it done the same here? Let's check. Let's check. Yeah, it's done the same here. Basically what it assumes, its default is to assume that the item at the top is not one of the things to be sorted. It assumes it's actually the name of that column. So it would think that the top was like animal, and then you've got the actual list underneath, or it would think that the top was number and you've got the actual list underneath. So that's why it's not sorting. That's why it's not sorting the top, and you can adjust it. If you was to click on custom sort, then you would see probably some option. Here we go. My data has headers. Right. So if you unselect that and do OK, we'll do it with this one. We'll unselect the top row, custom sort, unselect the top row, okay, and now sort it, Z to A, and now it's actually treating animal as if it was one of the items in the list. So the default is to assume that the top of the column is the column header, and that's actually the name of your data, and unless you click A to Z, custom sort, and unselect my data has headers, it will leave the top item alone. So that's what it was doing there. Okay, you can put basically in any cell you like, you can put data. So I've put some words already, I've put some numbers already. Those numbers, they don't have to be whole numbers. They can be decimal numbers. And you'll notice it put 2 as it's just put 2. I actually typed 2.0, but it changed it to 2. I'll show you why that happens in a second. And so you can put any decimal numbers you like. If you're familiar with decimal numbers, you can put ones that are smaller than 1. And you'll notice again, it's changed it. I typed 0.00034. It's changed it to okay, it's actually accepted it now, but the very first thing it did was it changed it to another form, which had, I think it was like 3.4e minus 4. And I would have shown you what it was doing there. I will show you what it was doing in just a second. Okay, and then another form that you can type is dates. So for example, you can have the 1st of January 2019, or you can type that out yourself using forward slashes for dates. I think in America it'd be the other way around, so it'd be January the 1st, 2019. But in the UK it's the 1st of January 19. So these are the various data types you've got, and then I'm just going to show you why it did, because you might have preferred for all of these to have a decimal point. So what that is, that's number formatting. And number formatting, if you select somewhere in an Excel sheet, this time you click the right mouse button. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm clicking the right mouse button, and it will give you this menu with cut, copy, paste, insert, delete, various different things you can do. And one of those options is format cells. And if you click on format cells, you get this pop-up menu which has number, alignment, font, border, fill, protection, various different things. So for example, border, click on that, easy, okay, you just get a border around those items. And here's one more example, number, if you click on number underneath, put 2 decimal places, or we'll put 3 decimal places, click OK, and now you'll get all these numbers with 3 decimal places. Okay, so that's just some absolute basics for the formats that are available in Excel. I'll continue with navigation and other things in video 2.